I'm honored to welcome Dr. John Passante to the Springs Are Everywhere podcast. John is the president of the Organizational Development Group, where among many talents, he's an executive coach and keynote speaker. He has worked for many notable corporations during his career, such as CarQuest, Tenneco Automotive, and Delphi, to name just a few. John is the author of The Human Side, High-Touch Leadership in a High-Tech World, and for me personally, a highly valued and treasured friend that I've known for many years. John, thanks for joining me today.
Well, Gary, you and I have a long history, and I'm so excited that we have this opportunity to use this forum to share some ideas and concepts. And you and I value the human side of the enterprise and people. So again, I thank you.
Well, John, I know we share a couple of experiences in common of being paper boys. I know those don't exist anymore, and golf caddies, which still do. And you started working at the age of 10. I think I was about 12. And you did so much more than that, being a paper boy and a caddy. You had nearly 4 years in the United States Air Force. And John, let me ask you, how did all those experiences shape your journey to become a human resource professional?
As always, Gary, you ask some profound questions, but as I reflect on that question, growing up, it's interesting to me. I mean, I'm the oldest in my siblings, and so my parents, we were lower middle class workers and blue collar. We were probably poor, but didn't realize it, Gary. But so I took 2 paper routes, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, to sort of help out a little bit with my at home. And it taught me how to use money and how to get disappointed when people wouldn't pay you. And it was a really interesting study of human nature where I'd be like a half a block away from the home collecting, and the kids would be out front of the house I'm going to go collect in. The parents would be out somewhere. And the closer I got to the house, the kids were gone. The parents were in the house, and the house was locked down. Sadly, they didn't have the money to pay me. So I got appreciation for the human, I guess the embarrassment of you will. And then when you caddy, you see all kinds of behavior with people, things you want to emulate and things you don't want to emulate. And the caddies, before I was even aware of performance appraisals, they had their own code for members of their country club. You had the high-temper guys that threw their clubs. I unfortunately learned how to swear on a golf course for the golfers, and I learned that people cheat sometimes to win, because they're in competition. And so, this is all coming at me. I'm young, and what's interesting is that I joined the Air Force after 1 year of college because I couldn't afford to go to school. I was working full time and going to college full time, Gary. I couldn't do it. But my whole growing up, people always told me there were issues. I mean, I never thought about it, but they would share with me concerns and hurts, and maybe because I'm a good listener, or they knew it wouldn't go any further. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but I'm trying to respond to your question. And that carried on into the Air Force. Like, the Air Force was good for me because you learn. I mean, we had people that I worked with and went through basic trainings from all walks of life. I mean, we had one of my best friends was from Harlem, a black young man, came from a really poor family. Gary, he told me a story about seeing his dad get shot in front of his house. I mean, it makes me want to. Wow. And he always told me that story. And And so, the Air Force, I was promoted quickly. I don't know, again, maybe because they saw leadership in me that I didn't know I really had, Gary, but it taught me discipline. It taught me respect for country and freedom. And I was, basic trainings in Lakeland, Texas, in Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, San Antonio. So this black young man that he and I were friends, we got a weekend off after maybe a month or two of basic training. So we hitchhiked downtown to San Antonio to have some lunch. And we go in a restaurant, we sit down, and they're waiting on this is in the early 60s, and they're waiting on everybody around us but us. So I get up, you know me well enough, and I say to the waiter, I said, "Excuse me, we'd like to order lunch." He said, "We don't serve his kind." They point to my black friend.
Wow.
And I stand up, and I'm going to go, I was going to grab the guy, and my black friend said, "John, I'm used to it. I'm used to it." And so we went to another restaurant, and same thing. Third restaurant, we finally got served. So how do you put that all together to say equal rights means equal rights, common sense, and treat people fairly? And that carried over my human resource career, where you treat everybody the same. We're all creatures of God. And whether you're the CEO or you're the third shift janitor, it really doesn't matter. We're in this life together. And, sometimes companies forget about the human side.
Yeah. And John, that's what your book was all about that I worked with you on. Yes. The human side of leadership. I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 12 years since we did that. And our world has become even more high-tech since then. And I just want to ask you, why is the human touch so critical in today's business world?
Gary, we live in a world of everything is fast. Microwaves, order online, same-day delivery. So we're used to that. Instant gratification. And so we're more things-driven than people-driven. And, through the pandemic and after the pandemic, employers lost employees. And they wonder why. Lack of communications. When I do seminars and I speak at Northwood or anywhere, I ask a basic question, Gary, of the group. What's the mission statement of your company? They can't tell me.
Wow.
And I said, how many of you feel appreciated? Usually, Gary, it's less than 70% of the people. Now, you think about this. The company spends money to send an employee to Midland, Michigan, flights, hotels, etc., for a week. But the employee doesn't know why they're there. That's like brushing your teeth. And so technology is a beautiful thing. I'd rather be sitting across from you face to face, but technology lets us at least communicate and see each other. Old friends and colleagues, which I value very much. And so I think we all need the human touch. I don't care who you are. And you talked about coaching. I coached a very hard-charging, demanding CEO once, and he was near retirement. And he was having a hard time accepting he had to retire. So I was in his office, hellacious office, Gary. All kinds of awards and trophies and all over the place. So it's after hours, just he and I are in the building. Excuse me. And I said, come with me and get up and we'll go outside, look inside your office. He looked at me like, what? I said, come on. I said, come with me. So we go out. I closed the door. I said, look in that office. What do you see? He said, John, that's a very impressive office. He said, all those awards. He said, I'm important. I said, okay, let's go back in. So we sit down. I sit in front of this massive desk. He says, I said, you know, less than 6 months from now, you will be in this office. You know who you are? I said, is this office who you are as a person? Gary, he got a tear in his eye. I said, when you make phone calls, many people won't call you back anymore because you don't have that impact.
Right.
When you go to the country club, the guys may or may not impress with you at the bar. And so I'm trying to answer your question is that life is never a straight line. We all have, unfortunately, we all have sicknesses. We lose people in life. And the human touch is when I always tell people that when I worked in business with friends, I said, get invited to weddings, that's nice. Funerals are mandatory. When somebody shows up when my dad died, I never forgot it. I was surprised. I looked down the line of people in line. I saw somebody. I didn't expect them to come to, you know what I'm saying? And so have to be consistent. You should say, people are our most important resource. Hello? Are they in your strategic plan? Do you pay competitive wages? When's the last time you recognized somebody? When I was with Moog, one of my favorite jobs working for Larry McCurdy, and he gave me a lot of freedom, I'm sure. He said to me one, I don't know about you, Passante. I said, I understand. But if we made the month in sales, we were corporate headquarters for sales, I would bring in free donuts for everybody. And so one of the sales guys would call in customer service, and the lady would say, you're behind in your sales. He said, hurry up a month. I want some donuts from John.
I want some donuts. I love it.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
But the point is, it was recognition. And,
right.
And so the human touch it's a process. It has to be from here first. If you're just saying the words and being superficial, don't go there. But if you're going to really embrace the human resource and the talent of your people, people are your competitive edge. You know that in your career, Gary. I mean, good people. Mm-hmm. And you know, today I read something where more and more women are quitting the workforce because they don't think it's worth it. Because, being a mother and a wife and a job, I think companies have to be a little bit flexible so that they can do both. So, Gary, I hope this is making sense to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, John, I think what I'd like to ask you, why is it more important than ever that leaders keep their employees focused on the right things?
Again, Gary, this computer is a beautiful tool and it's a monster because we don't know what the employees are doing when they're on a computer. You can't track them all day long. And so one of my favorite sayings, silence is not feedback. And so if I work for you, Gary, in your role at Spring, and I know you well enough, before you hired me, when you hired me, we would review the job description and you would give me clear expectations of what you expect of me. And then you would say to me, what do I expect of you as your employee? It's a two-way street. Mm-hmm. One way, the boss, down to the person. And so the answer to your question is productivity, it's customer satisfaction, it's standing out about your competition. Today, Gary, how many people call you back when you leave a message? They don't.
No. Very rare.
Very rare. And so our generation, heck, when I call somebody, they call it back. They call me, I call them back. I mean, and so.
And John, I think that touches on one other thing I wanted to talk to you about because we're starting to run out of time.
Okay.
Bob Dylan said, be kind because everyone you'll ever meet is fighting a hard battle. Why is kindness so important? I know you really are passionate about that topic.
Well, Gary, it's you travel a lot. And your career I have too. It's not unusual for me when I was at Delphi, other companies, to go to China or go to Europe, long flights, sit down next to somebody you never met, never meet them again probably. Half hour into the flight, they tell you a life story because they don't have anybody to listen to them. And so kindness is the gift that keeps on giving. Kindness it takes the stress out of life. It makes people appreciate it. I mean, how many people thank the postman or the post lady?
It's true.
How many people, thank the flight attendant after a lousy flight? I mean, the point is, right. Why is kindness so important? Because you read the paper, I read the paper. Too many murders, too many robberies. We don't know what triggers things. Now, maybe somebody would be nice to somebody on a given day or listen to them on a given day. That may change what happens to them. And so, and that's part of what I do. And whenever I can, Gary, I sincerely try to be kind to everybody. And that's one of my objectives every day. I say a prayer in the morning. I want to be kind to 5 people today. I don't want recognition. I'd like to surprise them. And
yeah, John, I remember sitting with you at a hotel here in Chicago, and I saw you interact with the wait staff, and you were so kind. So I know from seeing you live it out, and that's a great testimony to you. So, John, how would people get in touch with you if they want to talk more about leadership, coaching, those sorts of things?
Excuse my voice, Gary, because I got the sinus allergies. But I'll give you my email address if you can hear me clearly. Okay.
Yeah, and we can put it up on the screen too.
And then my phone number is 401-252-9430.
Awesome. Well, John, boy, we could talk for hours. I know we have before, and that's what I love about you because it's a conversation. You value the input of others. You're not just standing on the pedestal saying, I'm the guy who's got all the answers. You listen to people. So thank you for your time today, and God bless you, my friend.
God bless you. You're a special friend, Gary.